My parents are the protagonists of some trashy, melodramatic novel. I'm the unlucky child they conceived out of pure spite. When my dad held his terminally ill first love in his arms, promising to give her a home, I innocently raised the medical report and asked, "Auntie, why does this say prostate cancer?" When the devoted second male lead took my mom to go racing, I quickly clung to my mom's leg. "Mom, I want to play too." So the three of us ended up sitting together on a kiddie ride by the street. While my mom went to get change, the second male lead glared at me through gritted teeth. "Here's $5. Why don't you go play by yourself?" I shook my head. "Uncle, you're way too stingy. My dad's first love gave me 500,000 just to see him once." The second male lead fell into awkward silence. Just as I was feeling smug, my mom's eerie voice came from behind. "Lucy. So the money you used to buy me that gift last time came from this." I opened my eyes. I had transmigrated into a book, becoming a 6-year-old girl. I had an award-winning actress for a mother and a father whose wealth rivaled nations. No malicious fake heiress, no scumbag dad or wicked mom. As the only child, I enjoyed the undivided love of the whole family. My mom would take me to meet my favorite celebrities and gently braid my hair into pretty styles. My dad would buy an entire amusement park for me and let me doodle all over his face. I thought the heavens had finally smiled upon me, letting me live a life of effortless success. But the next moment, I witnessed my parents arguing with my own eyes. The wedding photo frame lay shattered on the floor, my father's face icy as he accused my mother of dating another man. My mother, eyes red, sneered that my father never loved her, only his first love. The two of them tore into each other. Their faces screamed, "If we're really a couple, come at me." This overly dramatic plot finally made me realize, turns out, I've transmigrated into a cliché, angst-filled novel. The gist of the novel's plot is, my parents married through a business alliance, but due to various misunderstandings and the interference of malicious supporting male and female characters, they harbored deep misconceptions about each other. It wasn't until the grand finale when they encountered a car accident on their way to divorce. My mother passed away, and my father was left disabled, confined to a wheelchair for life. Only when separated by death did they realize they had loved each other all along. Just thinking about this ending fills me with both fear and sorrow. They are the two people in this world who love me the most. They also love each other, but their love is hindered by the plot and misunderstandings. I don't want either of them to leave me, so I'm going to help my dad and mom clear all obstacles so they can have a perfect love story. After making up my mind, I realized an even bigger problem. By the time I traveled back in time, the plot was already nearing its finale. My dad and mom had already signed the divorce papers. The cooling-off period for divorce is only 30 days. I must rewrite the bad ending within these 30 days. Divorce countdown, day 25. I came home from kindergarten. Just as I opened the fingerprint lock, I heard a fierce argument coming from the living room. "Lucas, have you no shame? The news about you accompanying Bella for her prenatal checkup in the U.S. is trending." My dad replied impatiently, "I already told you, I was just accompanying her for a checkup." That day, I happened to pass by the obstetrics department. My mom sneered, "Right? And you just happened to pass by the hotel when you checked in with her. She didn't eat before her checkup. Had low blood sugar, so I took her back to her room. That's all." "Huh, Lucas, can you even say such a lame excuse without laughing?" My father lowered his eyes and took a deep drag of his cigarette. Amid the thick smoke, his face was visibly irritated. "Wendy," I explained, "if you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do." "Okay." My mother's eyes turned red. "Lucas, you bastard." She grabbed the wine bottle from the table, gnashing her teeth. "And okay, if I told you to eat shit, would you say, okay, too?" My dad was about to get his head bashed in by my mom. I quickly pushed the door open and shouted, "Mom, Dad, I'm home." My words worked like a charm. My mom froze mid-swing. The scene suddenly fell into silence. 3 seconds later, my dad frantically rushed to the ashtray to stub out his cigarette. My mom put down the wine bottle in her hand and came over to hug me. She kissed my cheek and asked softly, "Did you have a happy day at school today, sweetheart?" My dad stood in the distance, frantically waving his hands as if electrocuted, trying to shake off the smell of smoke, while squeaking in a high-pitched voice to praise me. "Wow, our little princess looks so beautiful in this dress." I grinned at them, but in reality, my heart ached with bitterness. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. Now my parents don't love each other at all, but both of them love me very much. My dad and mom chatted with me for quite a while. One asks me what good friends I made today, the other asks me what I had for lunch. The atmosphere seems friendly, but in reality, they only talk to me, treating each other like air. I obediently answer. Inside, I was anxious, not knowing how to ease the tension. The next moment, my dad's phone rang. I couldn't tell what the person on the other end was saying. My dad quickly hung up the phone and patted my head. I have some things to take care of, Lucy. Be good at home and listen to your mom. As he spoke, my dad glanced at my mom again. He cleared his throat slightly and said somewhat awkwardly, "Don't wait for me to have dinner together tonight." After saying this, my dad strode out the door without looking back. Seeing this, my mother smiled silently. Her expression carried a hint of sorrow. I knew my mother must have thought my father was going to see that Bella, but this time, it really wasn't the case. My father genuinely went for work. Sigh. I don't know why the male leads in angst novels never learn to speak up, and now this kid has to be his mouthpiece. While mentally complaining, I shook my mom's hand, casually speaking up. "Mom, I just saw it was Uncle Leo the secretary calling. Dad has to go to work at the company so late. How exhausting." My mom froze for a moment. "Really, really?" I nodded vigorously. "Mommy, don't be sad, even though Daddy went to work. Lucy will stay with you." I wanted to comfort Mom, but for some reason, my mom's tears suddenly streamed down her face. I panicked. "Mommy, our Lucy is not only sensible and well-behaved, but also a heartwarming little sweetheart." My mother's eyes were dull and lifeless. "You're the best and most wonderful baby, but Mommy is a bad mommy who can't give you a happy and beautiful family." I knew my mother had already become very pessimistic about this marriage. "Mommy," I said with feigned mystery, "Lucy is actually a great prophet. You know, I can foresee many things. For example, I will always love Mom, and you and Dad will definitely stay happily married for 100 years. My mom burst out laughing. "Little kids shouldn't talk nonsense." I knew she didn't believe me. "It's okay, I'll make this wish come true." The next day after school, I took the school bus to my dad's company. The door to the CEO's office was tightly shut. When Secretary Leo saw me, his expression was both panicked and strange. "Why, young mistress, what brings you here?" "Mr. Lucas is busy," he said no one is allowed to disturb him. Just two short sentences, yet Uncle Leo stumbled through them. Clearly, something's fishy. I was feeling puzzled when suddenly I heard a woman's sobbing sound coming from inside the office. The sound was thin and drawn out. In an instant, I froze on the spot. Her small hands clenched into tight fists. No way. Could it be that my dad actually cheated? A cheating scumbag is absolutely unacceptable. If that's really the case, even if he's my biological father, I won't help him mend things with my mom. I stomped my short little legs angrily toward the door. Bang! The door was flung open with all my might. At the sight inside the room, I was dumbstruck. There was, surprisingly, no adult-rated scene inside the house. A woman sat on the sofa, sobbing softly. Used tissues were scattered all over the floor. My father, fully dressed, sat behind the desk, resting his head in his hand, looking weary, clearly suppressing impatience. Seeing me walk in, they both froze for a moment. "Lucy," my dad sounded surprised. "What brings you here?" I hadn't even spoken yet when the woman raised her head, her swollen red eyes curving as she gave me a fragile smile. "Oh, is this Lucy? She looks so much like your father. How wonderful." Her perfume was so strong it made me sneeze uncontrollably. If I remember correctly, this woman in the white dress is Bella, my father's first love in this story. She appears innocent and pitiful, but in reality, she's a complete green tea bitch. She falsely claimed credit for my mom saving my dad when they were kids, then tried to use that favor to force my dad into marrying her. After learning my dad had already married my mom, she kept faking various illnesses to gain my dad's sympathy. All those rumors about my dad and her were entirely orchestrated by herself, with the sole purpose of breaking up my parents' marriage so my dad would divorce and marry her. At this moment, Bella's eyes darted, and she turned to look at my dad again. "Lucas, my test results are out. I have cancer." She covered her mouth with a tissue, on the verge of tears. "It's already terminal. I think there's no point in treatment anymore. For this last period, I just want to stay by your side, Lucas. Though I can't marry you in this lifetime, I would have no regrets if I could leave this world in your embrace." The woman's voice was filled with sorrow, her demeanor utterly broken. It was impossible not to feel pity for her. seeing a flicker of emotion in my father's eyes. My internal alarms went off. I hurried over and threw myself into my dad's arms. Dad, I'm hungry. When are we going home to eat? Hearing this, my dad quickly said, we'll go home right now. I thought I could finally avoid Bella's emotional manipulation. I didn't expect Bella to start sighing again. Sigh, I really adore little girls, but unfortunately, I'm unlucky, never married, no daughter. Lucas, bring your daughter to visit me more often these days. That's my only wish. I touched my face. The abacus beads are practically bouncing off my face. Unfortunately, my clueless CEO dad would immediately beam with joy whenever someone complimented how cute I looked. He nodded and said, since you like Lucy, I'll bring her to see you often. A happy smile bloomed on Bella's lips. She bent down again and gave me a kind smile. Lucy, Auntie heard you like sweets, but your mom won't let you eat too many. It's okay, whenever you want some, come find Auntie. I'll make cakes for you. My little cakes are really delicious. If she'd said this to an actual child, they probably would have naively agreed. Unfortunately, I was not. I blinked and said brightly, Auntie, I'm just young, not stupid. Playing the emotional card with me won't work. Besides, my mom disciplines me for my own good. Please stop trying to drive a wedge between us. Just then, Uncle Leo pushed the door open and placed a cup of tea in front of Bella. He said politely, Miss Bai, green tea. That's so ambiguous, and too fitting for the occasion. Bella's face instantly turned green. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. My father cleared his throat lightly and patted my head with slight reproach. Lucy, don't say that. Aunt Bella just wanted to be friendly with you. I asked bluntly, Aunt Bella, are you a transvestite? Bella froze for a moment, her eyes welling up with tears. Sweetheart, why would you ask that? Don't you like Auntie? Sobs, but Auntie really likes you and wants to be friends with you. My dad looked somewhat awkward and quickly pulled out a few tissues to hand to Bella, apologizing on my behalf. Lucy has been spoiled by her mom and me since she was little, so she speaks her mind. Please don't take it to heart. But Bella only cried more pitifully. Woo woo. I knew sister-in-law never liked me, but I never expected Lucy to be like this too. This damn green tea bitch really knows how to throw shade, trying to subtly blame my mom again. If that's how it is, I won't indulge her nonsense anymore. I let out a cold laugh and decisively reached out to pick up the English medical record that had fallen to the ground. Hey, Bella noticed my movement, and a flash of obvious panic crossed her face. She stopped crying and reached out to snatch it back, but luckily, I was quick to react. I turned my back and swiftly flipped through the pages, my eyes darting over each word. Finally, I found it. I sighed in relief inwardly, then raised that page of the medical record high and asked with a smile, Dad, since Aunt Bella is a woman, how could she get prostate cancer? Fortunately, I had read the novel beforehand and knew Bella never had any cancer at all. That medical record was just something she bought for $50 from someone outside an American hospital. Her English wasn't good, and she had no understanding of these profound medical terms, so she didn't bother to read them carefully, nor did she realize that this type of cancer had absolutely nothing to do with her. The room instantly fell into silence. Bella opened her mouth, but couldn't utter a single word. Considerately, I handed the medical record to my father. My father wasn't an illiterate like Bella, whose only thought was marrying into wealth. He's a domineering CEO with a Harvard background and exceptional knowledge. My father took a closer look, his expression turned serious. He raised the medical record and looked at Bella. What's going on? His tone was very calm. He wasn't angry, just waiting for an explanation, but Bella clearly had poor psychological resilience. Her face turning pale with fear, she whispered hesitantly, Lucas, I don't know what happened. The medical records the doctor gave me were like this. I think they must have made a mistake. My dad calmly interrupted her. Then I'll go with you to the hospital for another checkup. No, there's no need. I have things to do. I'll call you when I need to go to the hospital. My first love grabbed her bag and ran off in a flustered panic. As she passed by me, she gritted her teeth and muttered under her breath, utterly devastated, damn unlucky brat. Pa, ruined my perfect moment. I heard it loud and clear, but I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. After all, my dad had already seen through her true colors, so I just shook my head and sighed sorrowfully. Sigh. There's one more person in this world who calls me an unlucky child. I saw Bella running away. I tugged at my dad's hand and asked curiously, Dad, why are you so nice to Aunt Bella? You buy her big houses and bags. and even accompany her to medical checkups. My dad patted my head and explained gently, because Aunt Bella saved me, Dad is repaying kindness with gratitude. That scar on her wrist was left when she saved me back then, but that scar doesn't prove anything, I secretly told him. Mom has the exact same scar on her hand too. Except my mom always thought that scar was ugly, so she's been wearing a bulky men's watch to cover it up. What did you say? My dad suddenly widened his eyes. He leaned down, gripped my shoulders, and stared intently into my eyes. Lucy, you're not lying. Humph. Lucy was raised well by mom and would never lie like that, Aunt Bella. I pouted. Dad, if you don't believe me, just go home and look at mom's wrist. Yes, yes, exactly. My dad nodded emphatically. Lucy is so clever. He leaned back into his executive chair, his expression a mix of 3 parts confusion and 7 parts excitement. No wonder she never liked wearing jewelry. It turns out the person I've been looking for might have been wrong from the very beginning. My father muttered to himself for a long time, as if suddenly remembering something. He raised his hand and pressed the call button. A moment later, Uncle Leo walked in. Mr. Lucas. My dad instructed Uncle Leo to reinvestigate what happened back then. After giving his orders, my dad finally turned to look at me. His tone was very serious. Tell me, why didn't you come straight home after school today? Didn't Daddy tell you that a little kid like you shouldn't wander around? Because I wanted to bring you home with me. Our family of 3 hasn't had a meal together for days, I said. And, Mom was really upset after she argued with you that day. A trace of gloom flashed through my father's eyes. He let out a bitter laugh. Your mother doesn't like me. Why would she be upset for me? I widened my eyes. How is this possible? My father remained expressionless as he pressed the remote control on the table. The TV screen lit up, but the opening wasn't the financial news channel. Instead, it was an entertainment program. The host was enthusiastically narrating in a Taiwanese accent about the entertainment news of my mom dating a top idol. I was dumbfounded. My dad sneered and pulled open the drawer again. It was filled with gossip magazines. Every cover features candid shots of my mom dining, strolling, or toasting with different male celebrities. Each of them is incredibly handsome. My mom is amazing, a total queen of the sea. As I was silently marveling at this, I heard my dad's melancholic voice again. Look how your mom's smiling, like a blooming rose. My dad said this while lifting those magazines, making them rustle and snap loudly. His tone was full of resentment. This director isn't even 185 centimeters tall, this male celebrity isn't as handsome as me, and that third-generation rich kid is practically broke, can't even afford a yacht. None of these men can compare to me. I don't know what your mother sees in them. I was just about to comfort my dad, saying that mom was only playing along for the occasion, and that he alone was her eternal harbor, but the next moment, a bunch of cards came fluttering out from between the magazine pages. I lowered my head for a closer look. Only then did I realize they were all my mom's autographed cards. Every single one was the kind of rare card that gets resold for 5 figures online. I was stunned for a long moment, then couldn't help but burst into laughter. I never expected that my dad, a domineering CEO, secretly follows entertainment news every day to keep close tabs on my mom's activities. He even secretly collects my mom's autographed photo cards. Isn't this just the perfect image of a wealthy but resentful husband? I laughed and said, Dad, so you're actually a big jealous pot. My dad looked somewhat embarrassed. You're just a kid, talking nonsense. I nodded. All right, I'm talking nonsense. Then what's the deal with these cards? My dad's eyes darted around. I just bought it on a whim. I get it, I said understandingly, standing on tiptoe to pat my dad's shoulder. What you mean, Dad, is that you specifically downloaded a second-hand trading platform, just happened to see mom's autographed card, then casually paid the deposit, joined the auction, spent an hour bidding against others countless times, and bought it on a whim. My dad flushed with embarrassment and anger. Lucy, since when did you learn to be so sarcastic? Keep it quiet. Don't you dare tell your mom about this. It's not nonsense at all, I said, shaking my head. I'm happy because I just realized Dad loves Mom very much too. My dad didn't say anything, just picked up the small card and gently touched my mom's face on it. Only when you care about someone will they stir your emotions. My dad glanced at me, quite the philosopher for a little kid. I said, of course, and I know an even more important truth. Love for someone should be spoken aloud, just like how I tell Mom and Dad, I love you, every day. So Dad should say it to Mom too. Hearing this, My father fell silent, only his gaze grew distant. I know my dad grew up in an orphanage, so he doesn't understand what love is or how to express it. No worries, that's just the standard tragic backstory for a domineering CEO in angst novels. I can guide him slowly. I said, Dad, you should start wooing Mom, or she'll really leave you. Then you'll be thrown into the crematorium of love and end up crying your eyes out. My dad snorted. What, you want me to chase after a woman? I'm a CEO. I wouldn't stoop to such embarrassing behavior. I rolled my eyes. Fine, do you want your pride or your wife? 3 seconds of silence. I heard my dad awkwardly ask me, so, is your mom's favorite flower still the avalanche rose? 23 days left. On my way home from kindergarten, I ran into my dad. He was holding a huge bouquet of roses. Looking somewhat nervous, I almost tripped myself when entering the house because the bouquet was too big and got stuck in the doorframe. Honey, cough, this is for you. My dad lowered his head meekly, speaking sincerely. I've deeply realized my mistake. I shouldn't have gotten so close to Bella. From now on, I'll keep my distance from her, and I'll have her contact Leo for any needs. But you must believe me, nothing happened between us. At this moment, my mom was sitting at the dressing table applying a face mask, seemingly indifferent to my dad's apology. After a long pause, she finally lifted her chin slightly and snorted coldly. Ugly. My dad, crestfallen, hid the bouquet of flowers behind his back. The atmosphere turned awkward. Huddled by the door, I quickly mouthed to my dad, woo her back. Go for it. Encouraged by my words, my dad nodded vigorously. Then, shamelessly, he stepped forward again. Honey, wow. That dress looks amazing on you today. Is it new? My mother gave him a sidelong glance. This dress is just old clothes from years ago. My father choked for a moment, then chuckled again. Really? Oh, I can't tell at all. My wife would look good even in a burlap sack. My mother frowned and finally turned to stare at my father. Lucas, did you inhale gas today or get water in your brain? No way. This is a heartfelt sentiment from the bottom of my heart. Pfft. My mom's eyes and brows were filled with disdain, but after dinner, I saw my mom secretly arranging the bouquet my dad gave her in her favorite vase. Seeing this, I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. Turns out my mom can be a bit of a tsundere too, even though she still kept a cold expression on her face. But at least, it's a good start. 17 days left. My dad and mom's relationship has just started to thaw. Bella hasn't dared to cause trouble recently. I had just glimpsed a glimmer of victory when another uninvited guest showed up. It was one of my mom's suitors, not one of those young heartthrobs from the magazines who were rumored to be involved with my mom, the kind my dad could intimidate or bribe into backing off. This one was a heavyweight White Lotus, the male lead number 2 in this story, my mom's childhood sweetheart, John. He's not full of bad ideas like Bella. He's a wealthy, handsome uncle. The only flaw is his indecisive personality. Even though he knew my mom was already married, he still showed up in front of her from time to time, pretending to be deeply in love. Only when the child was gone did he come to offer comfort. Only when the woman he loved got married did his heart break. What took you so long? I pouted and took a big bite of my ice cream, glaring at John as he talked to my mom. John held up a huge bouquet of red roses arranged in the shape of a heart and said earnestly, Wendy, I hope you have a wonderful day today. These are Italian Valentine roses. I had to go through a lot of trouble to have a friend airmail them. My mom froze for a moment, looking awkward. Thank you. The servants in the villa were stunned, staring at the eye-catching bouquet of red roses. Watching my mother hesitate between accepting or refusing it, I quickly ran over. Mom, I want to eat rose jam. My mother let out a barely audible sigh of relief. Nanny song. Take the roses to the kitchen and make rose jam for Lucy. John froze for a moment, then pulled out another gift box from his pocket. By the way, this is a sapphire crown. I think it would complement your skin tone perfectly. Let me put it on for you. My eyes sparkled with excitement. Wow, it's so beautiful. My mom smiled and said, then let's crown our little princess. My mother gently placed the crown on my head with a tender expression. Oh, the little princess's crown looks so lovely. I touched the crown and giggled, pretending not to notice Uncle John grinding his teeth beside me. By the way, Wendy, do you still like racing cars now? John smiled, his eyes filled with nostalgia. I still remember that summer when we were 17, skipping class together to go play at the racetrack. Who would have thought in the blink of an eye? So many years have passed. My mom chuckled lightly and waved her hand. I haven't played in a long time, my skills are rusty. The weather is so nice today, let's go relive those memories together. John reached out his hand toward my mom. The next moment, with a smack, I placed my chubby little hand in John's palm. Okay, uncle, I want to play too. John stared at me, his brow twitching. He opened his mouth, but before he could speak, my mom cut in first. No, Lucy, you're too young to play with race cars. It's too dangerous. I don't care. I don't care. I unleashed the ultimate bratty child technique. Throwing a tantrum, Mom, I want to play with them now. Half an hour later, the three of us arrived at the rocking car by the street, a tacky pleasant goat-themed rocking car, accompanied by a cheerful children's song. John's face darkened, while my mom was away getting change. He glared at me with gritted teeth. How about I give you $5, and you go play by yourself? I shook my head. Uncle, you're way too stingy. My dad's first love gave me 500,000 just to see him once. This is something I made up, but it works surprisingly well. John immediately fell into an awkward silence. Just as I was feeling smug, my mother's eerie voice came from behind me. Lucy, so the money you used to buy me that gift last time came from this? I quickly changed the subject, clutching my stomach. Mom, my stomach hurts so bad. My mom immediately panicked. Did you eat too much ice cream? I clutched my stomach and groaned. I think so. Let's go. Let's go. Mom will take you to the hospital. My mother grabbed my hand while dialing her phone. Hello, Dr. Lee. My daughter isn't feeling well. I'll be at the hospital soon. My mother had eyes only for me. There wasn't even time to say goodbye to John. Instead, I turned around and proactively smiled and said goodbye to Uncle John. John stared at me, looking astonished. It was then that I remembered I should be in great pain right now, not smiling. So I quickly retracted my bared teeth and silently turned my head back. I was so scared. Good thing Uncle John doesn't seem too bright. I almost blew my cover, because of my interference. John's attempt to date my mom ended in failure, but he became more courageous with each setback. While my mom was filming on set, he sent milk tea and Haagen-Dazs to the entire crew in her name, on scorching summer days. These were practically lifesavers against the heat. All the staff members beamed with joy. He even unfurled a giant banner that read, Wendy's dear friend, Mr. John wishes a box office hit. Thus, everyone knew John was close to my mom. Seeing this, my mom felt a bit embarrassed. John, you really shouldn't have spent so much, John said gently. It's nothing, Wendy. He then took out a glass of orange juice. Your favorite orange juice. I squeezed it myself. No preservatives. Feel free to drink it. My mom said thank you. The scene of my mom and John sitting together under the tree was quite beautiful. Unfortunately, there was also a dark me in that beautiful scene. I took out my kid's smartwatch, snapped a picture of the milk tea and banner John had sent, and sent it to my dad. Dad, look at Uncle Joe, how thoughtful he is. My dad replied instantly, waiting, concise and to the point. Truly befitting a domineering CEO. As expected, 2 hours later. Another truck arrived at the scene. A giant banner was hung on it. Wendy's husband, Mr. Lucas wishes a box office hit. I was just about to say the support banner was utterly unoriginal, and my dad was kinda slacking. The next moment, the truck door slowly opened. The entire truck was filled with luxury brand bags endorsed by my mom. My dad gave one bag to every single crew member. Everyone on set was stunned by such extravagant support, shouting loudly in amazement, Mr. Lucas is so generous. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Lucas. Amidst the joyous atmosphere, John's face darkened. He scoffed, upstarts. Not just anyone can become a nouveau riche. A familiar voice emerged. It was my father. He was dressed in a custom-tailored suit, his hair slicked back, revealing his clean and handsome brow. He looked even more handsome than usual. Mr. John seems to have a lot of free time lately, even enough to visit my wife on set. John smiled insincerely. Wendy is my most important friend. It's the least I can do, my father replied with neither humility nor arrogance. I'll thank you on my wife's behalf. John couldn't hold back his anger and sneered. Who do you think you are, thanking Wendy on her behalf? Married yet still entangled with other women. You're utterly unworthy of Wendy. Those rumors are completely baseless. I've already explained everything to my wife, so there's no need for Mr. John to concern himself. The tension between them grew increasingly palpable. As the two men seemed on the verge of a physical altercation, I held my breath nervously. Fortunately, My mom finished her scene, looking at the truck full of luxury goods and the two men in front of her, neither willing to back down. My mom rolled her eyes. She grabbed my dad's ear and whispered, "Lucas, do you have too much money and nowhere to spend it?" My dad bared his teeth. "Wife, don't fall for that pretty boy surnamed James. He's not as rich as I am." My mom was furious. "Who told you I like him? He and I are just friends. The person I truly like is a big, dumb pig." My dad froze for 2 seconds, then he started grinning foolishly. He, you still love me, wife." He looked both simple-minded and silly. He didn't resemble the calculating, ruthless CEO he once was at all. Instead, he was like a silly boy deeply engrossed in a sweet romance. So, love truly possesses such magic, capable of transforming a person's character so profoundly, as I mused inwardly. I watched my dad carefully pull my mom into his embrace. I couldn't help but secretly laugh. Day 12, counting down, was exactly my parents' wedding anniversary. Under my guidance as a little strategist, my dad specially booked out my mom's favorite restaurant and invited her for a candlelight dinner. On the distant stage, violin music played melodiously, and on the table, blooming avalanche roses were exquisitely beautiful. "Happy anniversary, wife." My dad raised his red wine glass. His voice gentle. "This is our first anniversary, but I believe we have many more anniversaries to spend together in the future." My mom lowered her head and smiled faintly, also raising her glass. "Thank you, husband." The two wine glasses clinked, reflecting the intoxicating night. My dad and mom exchanged a smile, their eyes filled with affection. Watching this scene, I couldn't help but giggle happily from my high chair. Handsome man, beautiful woman, he, my parents are such a perfect match. The atmosphere was just right. My dad's phone, which was on the table, suddenly buzzed twice. My dad casually lowered his eyes and glanced at his phone. His expression suddenly changed. "Sorry, honey," he said, sitting up straight and seriously. "I can't eat this meal." Something urgent came up. My mom froze for a moment. Her originally sparkling eyes slowly dimmed, bringing with them a habitual sense of disappointment and loneliness. "I knew it would be like this. Bella sent you the message. Didn't she? Is she sick again, or has someone bullied her again?" It doesn't matter." My mom chuckled softly and lowered her head. She didn't cry or make a fuss, and said calmly, "Lucas, you should go." Seeing this scene unfold before me, I was terribly anxious. I thought the plot was about to descend into the rhythm of a tragic novel again. Unexpectedly, the next moment, my father, who usually doesn't say much, suddenly spoke. He leaned down and took my mother's hand. "No, honey. Leo just found out some things I never knew about. I need to go to the company to verify them." My dad looked into my mom's eyes very seriously and asked, "Can you come with me?" My mom hesitated for a moment, but she still stubbornly said, "Is it true? I don't believe it. Are you sure it's not about Bella?" "It is about her. But now I suspect she's been lying to me all along. She wasn't the little girl who saved me back then." Hearing my dad say this, I couldn't help but get excited. Thank goodness I taught my dad to speak up last time. It's so important for the male lead in angst novels to speak up. See, wasn't the misunderstanding cleared up once things were explained properly? So I persuaded, "Go ahead, Mom, let's accompany Dad to the company together." A flicker of hesitation crossed my mother's face, but she saw the pleading in my father's and my eyes. After a moment of silence, my mother finally stood up. "All right, Lucas, I'll trust you this once." She glanced at my dad and casually stuffed the unopened bottle of red wine from the table into the Prada Saffiano bag she was carrying. She said faintly, "If you're lying to me, you're finished." "I won't, wife." My dad had personally experienced my mom's combat prowess. After all, my mom won her Best Actress award through martial arts films. My dad shuddered and quickly raised 3 fingers. "I swear." My dad met Bella in the office, while my mom and I silently listened from the break room cubicle. "Lucas, you finally agreed to see me." Bella pretended to be pitiful. "I was wrong to deceive you with fake medical records, but please believe me, I just loved you too much and wanted you to spend more time with me." My dad spoke in a calm, unhurried tone. "Other than this, have you lied to me about anything else?" "Nothing else," Bella answered swiftly, but soon, she cautiously asked again, "Lucas, why do you ask?" "During this time, I met another woman." My father's tone was quite hesitant. "She has a scar on her hand similar to yours." "Bella, can you still recall the details from back then? How did you save me?" Bella's face stiffened. Her voice wavered. That memory is too painful, I've completely forgotten it. But when you first met me, you cried and talked for over half an hour. My dad chuckled. It's only been a year. How could you have forgotten everything? Bella panicked. I remember now. I grabbed your hand, and my wrist was cut by the stones by the river. You said it was glass last time. I misremembered. Cut the crap. Bella, you never saved me at all. My dad sneered and threw a pile of documents in front of Bella. I've already investigated everything. You lived in Y City until you were 14. You've never been to J City. There's no way you could have saved me. The one who saved me was my wife, Wendy. No, it's not, Lucas. Let me explain. Bella began to sob pitifully, but my father now showed no mercy toward her at all. He directly called security to drag Bella away. Bella's shrieking voice faded down the hallway. I tugged at my mom's hand. Mom. So you actually saved Dad before? My mom was shocked. I had no idea it was him I saved. Back then, he was just a chubby little kid, so heavy. If I'd known it was him, I wouldn't have bothered putting in so much effort to save him. My dad, who had just walked in through the door, happened to hear this and froze with a stiff expression. He pleaded, Honey, I was wrong. I was so stupid. I never imagined someone would impersonate me about what happened back then. I know I was completely in the wrong before. My dad lowered his eyes. But could you give me another chance to prove how much I truly care for you? My mom remained silent. I nervously shook my mom's hand and asked, Mom, after a moment of silence, a hint of hesitation flickered across my mom's face. All right, Lucas. My mom lifted her chin. Let's see how you perform. 10 days left. For the first time, my mom texted my dad to ask if he was coming home for dinner. My dad replied instantly. Almost home, honey. When he got back, he brought little cakes and roses for me and my mom. 8 days left. After dinner, my parents took a walk together in the garden. The night breeze brushed past, carrying the fragrance of flowers from the trees. My father plucked a vibrant rose and carefully tucked it behind my mother's ear. He stammered, Be pretty. My mother gently touched the petals and smiled softly, lowering her head, which made my father stare at her, utterly captivated. Hiding behind the tree, I covered my mouth to stifle a giggle. 3 days to go. The three of us attended the premiere of my mom's new movie together. The premiere was about to start in half an hour, but my dad, rushing from the office, was still stuck on the overpass. Your dad is always unreliable. In the dressing room, my mom let out a cold laugh while putting on her evening gown. I quickly reassured her, if Dad promised, he'll definitely make it on time. I'll go wait for him at the entrance. With that, ignoring my mom's calls, I dashed out with quick, light steps. The security at today's press conference was very tight, so I thought there was no danger, but what I didn't expect was, as soon as I ran out of the dressing room hallway, a hand was suddenly clamped over my face. mmph. I struggled a few times but then passed out from the scent of the handkerchief in that person's palm. When I woke up groggily, I heard the clamor of voices, and my mother's sobbing. I struggled to open my eyelids. Only then did I see that I was standing on a 10-meter-high stage. A dagger was pressed against my neck. Behind me, Bella's shrill voice rang out, You little brat, if it weren't for your meddling, I would have married Lucas long ago. Her voice was shrill, clearly descending into madness. I was completely stunned. Bella, why won't she just leave me alone? Besides, this wasn't even part of the original plot. Is this the consequence of the plot going off track? My mind is a complete mess. Just as I was wondering how to escape this predicament, suddenly, I heard my mom calling me, Lucy. My mother stood on the other side of the platform, barely able to stay upright as she was firmly held back by security and John. She stared at me nervously, her tone cautious. Bella, don't take your anger out on the child. Aren't you supposed to hate me? I can divorce Lucas. I can give you the position of Mrs. Lou. My mother's voice was hoarse. I just beg you. Don't hurt my Lucy. Watching my mother in this state of fear and anxiety, my heart felt like it was breaking into pieces, my throat tightened, and my vision blurred. Suddenly, I remembered what happened before I transmigrated into the book. In reality, my parents divorced when I was little. After the divorce, they quickly started new families of their own. I still remember one New Year's Eve when I was kicked out of the house by my dad because I ate my younger brother's chicken leg. And my stepmom made sarcastic remarks about it. Amid the joyful sound of firecrackers celebrating family reunion, I tearfully went to find my mom. but my mom didn't even let me in the door and sent me away with just 100 yuan. The old building had poor soundproofing, and I heard her say to her new family, "No one, just someone who came to the wrong door," before I transmigrated into the book. I was like a rat in the sewer, having never experienced familial love. I would secretly watch my classmates enjoying happy moments with their parents while dramatically exaggerating to everyone how much my own parents loved me, like a clown. That's why after entering the book world, I tried so hard to make my father and mother reconcile. I truly longed to have a happy family. I never expected it either. The familial love I desperately crave would be found in the world of a melodramatic, angst-filled novel. Watching my mother tremble all over, Bella burst into laughter. "Wendy, so you've come to this day. Weren't you the most high and mighty?" Her face twisted with malice. "If you want this little brat to live, get on your knees and beg me, Bella, you shameless bitch." Furious, I struggled relentlessly. Unfortunately, I was too small and couldn't break free from Bella's grip no matter how hard I tried. "Lucy," my mother's eyes turned red. Suddenly, with a thud, she really knelt straight down. But Bella wasn't satisfied. "Wendy, get down on your knees and bark like a dog." Hearing Bella's demand, the reporters and paparazzi raised their cameras in shock. Camera flashes went off as the crowd gasped in disbelief. My eyes reddened as I shook my head, choking back sobs. Let the sharp dagger carve streaks of blood across my neck. "No, Mom, Lucy doesn't want to see Mom do this." My mother, who loved beauty so much and was so proud, never bowed her head to anyone. Watching her suffer humiliation for me is more painful than killing me. I can't even imagine what kind of mocking words those reporters would use to send my mom trending on social media. But, yet my mom gave me a gentle smile. She said, "Silly child, you're my beloved Lucy. For Lucy, Mom can do anything." I couldn't hold back any longer and burst into loud sobs. Seeing this, Bella screamed, "Who told you to stop? Keep barking like a dog for me." My mom's trembling voice sounded in my ears again. I closed my eyes, unable to bear seeing my mother suffer for me any longer, yet a thought in my heart grew clearer and clearer. This platform was 10 meters above the ground. I made up my mind. I want to perish together with Bella. As long as she, the biggest villain in the entire book, is gone, my mom won't be sad anymore. Then my dad and mom can live a happy life together. Amidst the struggle, I was already prepared to fall off the high platform with Bella. At the critical moment, just as the female antagonist's blade was about to strike, my mother stood up without hesitation and stumbled toward me. "Wendy," John roared with bloodshot eyes. "No." He rushed forward, reaching out to grab my mother, but he grasped at thin air. True to her background as a martial arts film queen, my mother's combat skills were exceptional. She swiftly pounced forward, pulling me into her embrace and rolling us both aside several times. Amidst a cloud of dust, we barely came to a stop at the edge of the platform. "Lucy, are you okay?" My mother quickly propped herself up, looking at me with concern. "Are you hurt anywhere? Don't be afraid. Mommy will protect Lucy." My mother's forehead was covered in bruises, and her arms were full of bloody scrapes from small stones and gravel. Yet she seemed oblivious to the pain, her eyes fixed intently on me as she continuously comforted me. Suddenly, I felt a lump of sourness rise in my throat. I couldn't help but throw myself into my mother's arms, crying out, "Mom, yes, I'm here." My mother comforted me softly. I was about to say I was fine when I saw Bella behind my mother, wielding a dagger and charging at us again. I widened my eyes. "Mom." At the critical moment, a familiar and broad figure rushed over. Standing between me and my mom, it was my dad. Bella didn't expect my dad to appear suddenly either. She screamed loudly, "Lucas." She seemed to want to pull back, but with a sickening squelch, I still heard the sound of the dagger plunging into flesh. Bella seemed to be stunned, trembling as she let go of the dagger in her hand. "When did you come? Why did you rush forward like that?" She covered her head in disbelief, screaming at my dad. My dad coughed twice, and suddenly, a lot of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, yet he stubbornly stood between me and my mom, glaring coldly at Bella. "As long as I'm here, you won't lay a finger on my family." Seeing that Bella no longer had the weapon in her hand, the bodyguards on the scene rushed forward and pinned Bella to the ground. The sound of sirens wailed as Bella was taken away. Our family of 3 was placed on stretchers for the medical staff to perform simple bandaging, surrounded by a surging crowd. I was grimacing as I extended my arm for the nurse to disinfect it. Looking up, I saw John standing alone in the crowd. He seemed to want to step forward, but after a moment of hesitation, he remained silently in place, gazing at my mother's figure from afar. He was jostled and swept along by medical staff and reporters, yet showed no reaction. Seeing this, I called out to him, "Uncle John." After he looked at me, I smiled at him, without any trace of mockery or disdain. My tone was calm this time. I said, "Uncle, do you know why you can never be my dad?" "What, why?" He frowned, looking utterly perplexed. "That's because," I laughed, "your love for my mother was never steadfast enough." He said he loved my mother, yet he didn't dare to disrupt the wedding back then. Now that my mother is held hostage by villains, he still lacks the courage to rush forward and save her. Perhaps he truly did love my mother, only his love was too shallow. John froze momentarily before suddenly smiling in understanding. His expression carried a serene sense of release. Then, he turned and left silently. Amid the surging, bustling crowd, I watched his figure slowly disappear from sight. Before I could gather my thoughts, I suddenly heard a loud cry from behind, "Lucas, wake up!" Turning my head, I saw my mother holding my father, wailing uncontrollably. My father's clothes were stained with blood, blooming countless crimson flowers. My mother trembled all over, her tears falling like broken strings of pearls, large drops cascading down. "Lucas, you're not allowed to die. I haven't finished arguing with you yet. Don't think this means I'll forgive you. Did you hear me? Get up, Wah, don't fall asleep. Wake up," she said. My mom cried while slapping my dad's ears repeatedly with loud smacks. The medical staff present were shocked, yet too intimidated to step forward and intervene. The only sound in the silent air was the crisp, rhythmic slapping. Don't say it. My mom's physical therapy method really worked wonders. Moments later, my dad actually opened his eyes. He weakly spoke up, "Honey, stop hitting me. I'm fine. Just bumped my head against the wall earlier. Feeling a bit dizzy." A medical staff member nearby chimed in. "That's right, Mrs. Lou. No need to worry, Mr. Lucas's wound is on his shoulder, miles away from his heart." My mom awkwardly put her hands behind her back. "Oh dear, look at this mess." Looking at the scene before me, I fell silent for 2 seconds, then closed my eyes in despair. The couple on the battlefield of love truly live up to their reputation. Even after clearing up the misunderstanding, the way my dad and mom interact remains unique. But this seems to be the first time my mom shed tears for my dad. You could say it's a kind of progress. On the day I was supposed to report to elementary school, my dad was finally discharged from the hospital. If it weren't for sending me to school, I bet my dad could have stayed in the hospital for another month. Actually, the wound on his arm had already healed long ago. Staying in the hospital was just to play the victim and enjoy the sweet feeling of my mom taking care of him. These two adults are so childish. I shook my head and independently shouldered my little backpack. "Lucas, you're so clumsy, you can't even tie a tie properly." In the living room, my mom and dad bickered while she disdainfully helped him with his tie. My dad tilted his head back, watching her movements with a smile playing at the corners of his lips. Watching this scene unfold before me, I secretly chuckled. I glanced at the clock without thinking. Suddenly, I tensed up again. Mom and Dad, I'm going to be late." The room fell silent for 2 seconds, instantly plunging into chaos. Let's go. Dad will drive you in the sports car, Lucas." "Are you out of your mind? Our daughter is so young. What kind of sports car is safe for her? Remember this, she must always sit in a car seat." "Then what should we do, honey? We can't just fly a helicopter around the city." "It's fine, I'll ask for leave for our daughter." "Sweetie, just tell your teacher that your dad had a fever, broke a bone, and got hemorrhoids. And you were taking care of him at home." "Got it, honey. Can't you wish me well and teach our daughter something proper?" "Mom, Dad, stop arguing, let's just go." I hadn't even finished speaking. This time, my unreliable parents stopped arguing. They turned to look at me and answered in unison, "Okay, we'll do whatever our baby says. We're a family of 3, let's go now." After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.